The Radium Podcast, episode 105. How you guys doing? It's been a while. I wanted to jump back into the podcast because I got some stuff to talk about. Now, this episode, I'm going to break down a few things. The first part of it, I'm going to tell you guys some thoughts that I have about what's going on currently and what you guys should be focusing on with your music business, and your industry, trying to build up that music catalog, whatever you're trying to do. Chase those dreams. And then we're going to get into some tech talk. I'm going to talk about the new Mac Studio, who should get this and who should not get this when it comes to music, professional music, etc. I'm going to talk about some Pro Tools updates that you're really going to want to know. Logic Pro updates. I'm going to talk about plugins, third-party plugins, and how they're working with the M1 Max and what you need to think about and what you need to avoid. All these precautions that you're hearing on YouTube, I'm going to break all the false BS and I'm going to bring you the real game on that shit, okay? And then we're going to get into some audio tools that I've been using and digging lately. Obviously, I've been, dropping plugin of the weeks for you guys, so I want to talk about some of my favorite plugins that have dropped in the last 6 months, 9 months, etc., and direct you maybe to some other episodes that can help you with finding the right tools for you and your music. And we're gonna get a little outro on new music that we're gonna be dropping from Radium Records, different artists, and stuff to look out for. And don't forget, the only fee here, this is completely free game, free information, is that you guys share the show. Please, just share the show. That's all I ask. Drop a like, drop a comment, a question, but share the show. Share it to Twitter, share it to Instagram, Facebook, whatever. If you get something out of it, if it makes you think, if it makes you laugh, if anything, just share the show. That's all I ask. All right, so let's get into it. The Radium Podcast, episode 105. All right, welcome back to the Radium Podcast. It's been a super long time. I took a little hiatus on this because, man, I'll tell you, there's just a lot to keep up with. Doing content, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, trying to keep up with all this, making music, dropping records, mixing records, and then also trying to throw in a podcast. You guys are working my ass off. There's a lot to do. Yeah, I wanted to start the show by talking about some things that I think are going on right now, and I think that you need to start to focus on. There's a lot of news. There's a lot of, let's face it, there's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of CNN, Fox, everybody. They've infiltrated the internet. They've infiltrated YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. The news feeds are everywhere, and I don't know who to believe and who not to believe. And I don't think anybody really knows the truth about any of this stuff. What I really want to recommend to you guys is just turn that shit off. Turn the news off. Like, it's not helping you. It's not helping you to hear about this and who they want you to hate today and who they want you to not hate tomorrow. And the media has really gotten really bad in 2022. And I used to think it was really bad even when it was just on the news, like 5 o'clock news. Try to tell my parents not to watch that shit because it really is. It pulls your focus away from what's important. And I'm seeing this like crazy. This is like a really big issue right now in music and in the music industry because the creatives are getting pulled away from creating and focusing on their dreams and honing in on what they're supposed to do to make the world a better place. And that's drop your art. That's make great art. That's make the best art you possibly can and promote that art and connect with people and open doors for yourselves and opportunities. And instead, you're banging on the drum of, whatever these CNN and Fox News and, having these battles online about bullshit that you don't know anything about. Nobody knows anything about. And we're just knowing whatever the media is going to force feed us, right? So that's my first piece of advice is just stop. Get back to laser focused on what you're trying to do because the gas prices, blah, blah, blah. Everybody can find something to complain about. And it's a tired game. It's boring. You guys aren't bored of that shit? You're not tired of talking about the CDC and talking about all this BS? Like, come on. It's not anything productive in any sense. Arguing with people, like, just stop, okay? Like, get back to focus on what you're trying to do, on building your music, your business, your career, your life, a life for yourself. Because as this stuff passes and the new news cycle comes around, you don't want to be caught just getting into the next news cycle and beating that drum and posting about it. And all of a sudden you're broke. You haven't gotten anywhere with your music and you're feeling really crappy and you're feeling really depressed. And that's not what I want for you. I want you to have a thriving career in music and put music out and be proud of yourself and go have fun, Live life, because a year from now, 2 years from now, you can have a whole catalog of records, or you could have a bunch of posts online talking shit to people. I mean, you choose. It's your choice. Now let's talk about tech. Let's talk about some new tech that's coming out. Everybody wants to talk about the new Mac Studio. What are my thoughts on it? I got this question the other day in my DM, like, what should I get this computer? Should I upgrade? What should I do? Look, here's the thing, you guys. Technology is moving at a rapid pace. The vendors for the plugins can't even keep up with this stuff. Apple is a huge company with a lot of cash reserves. Trillions of dollars in cash. Okay? Think about that. When you got that much money, you got that much manpower and resources, you're going to just keep advancing tech as fast as possible. There is the M1 Max and the M1 Ultra. Okay? The M1 Max is a 10-core CPU, 32-core GPU, up to 64 gigabytes of RAM, and it's unified memory. Then there's the M1 Ultra, which is basically two of those put together, and up to 128 gigs of RAM. Now, the thing I don't like about this is it doesn't come with the screen. You also got to get the screen, and it's $1,800, $1,900 with taxes, all this stuff. And you're looking at a system bare minimum that's going to cost you with the screen, it's going to cost you $4,000. Now, this is always the question when you're in music. Do I upgrade? Do I not upgrade? What do I do? If you're working on the Intel-based systems and you're at the very best of the Intel-based system, you're not making a living in music. You're not getting paid even a living wage from it. You really don't need to worry about upgrading your computer, okay? Put that there. Now, if you are making a living in music, that is your living. You're mixing records, you're producing, you're making beats, you're a singer-songwriter, you're working on your computer a lot, and it is your main resource for income, then I'm still on the iMac, the 27-inch i9 maxed out Intel iMac, and I mix records, I produce records. That's how I make my living, and I find that it has plenty of power to get that job done, okay? Do I need to upgrade to the M1 Max, M1 Ultra Studio? No. I'm going to wait. So I'm going to give you my piece of advice is if you are at the point where you can't do your work, then yeah, you need to upgrade. Like say you're on the older i7 MacBook Pro and you make a living with music. I would absolutely update and upgrade to the M1 Max 10-core CPU. I want to get the M1 Ultra. The reason I want to get the M1 Ultra is because, first of all, it's $4,000 and you're going to get a terabyte hard drive, which means you're going to want to upgrade probably the hard drive to a 2 terabyte. Then you're going to want to get a screen and all this stuff. Now you're at like $6,000-7,000. That's just not worth it for me, right? That's worth it, I think, to people that are doing deep 3D art rendering, graphic effects kind of stuff. Really heavy video editing with tons of LUTs and all these plugins and stuff. And they're making a great living doing it. Okay. That's who that's for, the M1 Ultra. The M1 Max, I think, would suffice. It's a great computer. It's very fast. It's incredibly powerful. It's going to do most every job that you need to do in audio. Okay. Now that's $2,000. Now that only comes with a 512 gigabyte SSD. So you need to upgrade that to at least a terabyte. So there you go. There's an extra, $200, $300, $400, $500 depending on how much more storage you need. So start to think about the trade-off, right? And think about where you're at. The thing I don't like about it is it doesn't come with the screen. So for me, I would think about getting maybe the, like a different screen. I don't need the Apple screen, right? Like why? I make music. I'm not cutting 3D stuff and coloring photos and stuff. Okay. So those are my thoughts on it. Now let's talk about what a lot of people want to know. Is it compatible with everything? Can I run Logic Pro on it? Absolutely, you can run Logic Pro. It's an Apple product. Logic Pro just did an update, and let's check that out as well. I want to show you guys the update for Logic Pro and what it includes. Basically is the enable spatial audio monitoring with dynamic head tracking on AirPods. Who cares? There we go. That's what I'd say. Stupid. Nobody cares. That's some consumer grade shit. Monitor through the Apple binaural renderer, which provides a more accurate preview of spatial audio playback. Okay, so this stuff is kind of cool because you can mix for spatial audio, but I just don't see spatial audio really catching on too much. I think it's something that Apple's pushing that we didn't ask for. I didn't ask for spatial audio. It's a trip. I'm trying to run listening to earpods. Like, I don't want the audio like moving around. It's stupid for me, okay? I don't know about you, but I just don't see it. Optimized for performance on M1 Max and M1 Ultra, the new Mac Studio, and includes stability improvements and bug fixes. Okay, but here's the caveat. It requires macOS Monterey version 12.3 or later. Now, I would say don't upgrade because Mac Monterey is not going to be compatible with Pro Tools, but that actually just changed about 48 hours ago. So depending on when you're watching this, you're all good. You can update. Now let's go up to Avid and I'm going to show you that they actually updated Pro Tools, and Pro Tools was not compatible with Monterey, but they just made it compatible by updating their plugin suite. As you can see here, 22.2.0 is the new update for all the plugins, and this is what was stopping it from being compatible with Monterey and the new Macs, the M1, all that good stuff. So you are now able to update and upgrade your computer to Mac Monterey, put new Pro Tools on it, install all the updates for the plugins on Pro Tools, and put the new Logic Pro on it, and you're good. You're good to go. Now, the other thing people are going to say, well, my third-party plugins aren't going to be compatible, so I shouldn't do it. That's just not true. I mean, I'll be straight up with you. Rosetta is a shell wrapper for the M1 Max and Max Silicon, and every single plugin is going to work in Rosetta wrap, and most of them will work just fine. You're going to get as good, if not better, performance than what you get off an Intel Mac, okay? That's the first thing I would say to combat that argument of like, I'm not going to upgrade because my third-party plugins aren't going to work. That's the first thing I'd say. Second thing I'd say is that if you got plugin vendors right now that aren't on the M1, aren't on the Mac Silicon updates, they're probably not going to update. And if they do, it's going to be a while, and it's maybe a plugin you might want to just think about putting in the back for a while, or just not even using, because it sounds like a dated programmer. Sounds like a dated plugin programmer. So that's my information for you guys. To summarize that whole thing, if you're on an older Intel, yes, the Mac Studio Max is going to be fine for you. M1 Max, right? Pro Tools, Logic Pro, completely compatible. Monterey compatible. If you get a brand new M1 Mac Studio, it's going to come with Monterey. You can put the new Pro Tools on it. You can update the plugins on Pro Tools. You can shell wrap all of your third-party plugins with Rosetta. You got the new Logic Pro update that's going to be, everything's going to be great, awesome, high-performance shit. You're going to have a computer that's going to blow most computers out of the water right now. It's going to be a massive, massive upgrade. Caveat, it's going to cost you money. It's going to be at least $2,500 just to get the computer that is going to be good enough for music production, mixing, mastering on a professional level, and then you're going to need to get a screen or two, all right, if you don't already have one. Okay, so I'm glad we got through all that. That is the tech talk for today. Now, let's get into some audio tools that I've been obsessed with lately. Waves has been killing it. I don't care what anyone says. Waves has been around. They find their way in every single mix of mine. They're getting more and more affordable, and they're making higher and higher quality plugins. So when people talk shit about Waves, as I used to actually think like, Waves isn't as good as UAD and all that stuff. But as the computers have gotten more powerful, I don't mind using Waves plugins. I think they're great because now my computer can handle this stuff, right? I can use multiple plugins. I use the UAD a lot because of the DSP and because the UAD plugins sound really good. But for the modeled hardware stuff, right? For Waves, like I love so many of their plugins, the R-Verb, the R-Comp, the R-Vox, the new stuff that I love is this Create sampler, which is super dope. I'm loving this, and I love the Cosmos sample finder. It's all AI. I got all my samples sorted through there now, and it's completely free. Like, it's just stupid. I'm going to leave links in the description right here as well. They're affiliate links. Helps the channel if you guys buy through the affiliate links, but you don't have to. I'm not forcing you to do shit. Okay? And then the Clarity VX. This thing is ridiculous, okay? They had put out this plugin through Waves that was exactly what this Clarity VX does. And I think it's more like the Clarity VX Pro, but it's like $300. And this real-time noise suppression. So basically, it's instant noise reduction. It uses AI. It works incredibly well. You can also click the link in the description, watch the plugin of the week I did on it. And I think it's going to impress you and blow you away. It's an amazing plugin. So they keep making really dope stuff and making it really affordable. Like $30 for something like this is so dope. So highly recommend these plugins, these new ones. The Clarity VX, the Cosmos is free. Grab it right here. Creative Sampler, bam, get it. I think it's like $10 right now. It's stupid. All this stuff is just like getting better and better and better. And I don't know if they just got a better team or what, but it's awesome. And top 10 sellers, Clarity VX is number 1 right now. So you can tell it's just a good plugin. It really works. Okay. Now, second plugin that I want to talk about is the Auto Align Post 2. I've done plugin of the weeks on this. This is an awesome plugin. It saves me hours and hours and hours. I use it for something it's not even supposed to be used for. Like I'll use it on drums. I'll use it on guitars. I'll use it on anything that needs to be like doubled, stacked, harmonies, vocal stacks, all that stuff. And it works incredibly well. It's actually gotten better and better and better. And what it is it aligns the sample accurate phase alignment of anything that you're stacking or doubling. So let's say you have like a vocal, lead vocal, and then you're doubling that vocal. You can run it through Auto Align Post in Pro Tools as an audio suite plugin, which is offline. And you could just literally like 2 clicks and you got perfectly sample accurate phase aligned doubles. That right there can save me hours and hours and hours every single week. So this plugin I highly recommend. Check it out. It's incredible. The algorithm is just top-notch, amazing. And my third plugin and third pick of this podcast and this month is the Knif Audio Soma. Love it. I've put it on probably the last 3 records that I've worked on, mixed and mastered. And it just gives more clarity. It gives more depth. I can get more separation. It is a passive tube EQ, so it's very transparent. The quality stuff on it is just really, really nice and smooth. It's buttery. It's silky. It can get distorted and saturated and fat, or it can be clean as a whistle. It's just a very, very beautiful EQ. It's a mastering EQ. It goes into mid-side mode. It can do stereo EQ, has amazing filters on it. 5 dB increments, 0.5 dB increments. So you're gaining like half a dB on everything or cutting half a dB on everything. And it's just a very powerful tool, much like a Pultec EQ, but like in a very, very detailed mastering grade version of that. So that's a great EQ. I find it that I'm having a lot of fun with it. It has the mono maker on it because it's Plugin Alliance. And it also has the stereo width knob because it's Plugin Alliance, which is BX Digital, right? Incredible, awesome mastering grade passive EQ. If you're into mastering, you're looking to like the final step of, making more clarity and separation in your mix and you're mastering your stuff. This is a good plugin to check out. It's included in their mix bundle. That's $15 a month. I'm not affiliated at all with Plugin Alliance or BX Digital or Knif Audio, but this is awesome. This is a great plugin. And it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for you if you're looking for, beat making design, sound design stuff. This is for like mastering. This is like the final little touches, the final 2%, right? Okay, so that's another plugin that I highly recommend. And the last of the batch in the new audio tools that I'm loving this month. All right. So you guys, I want you to know we have some records coming out with Radium Records. So this year we're going to be dropping a lot of music. I'm going to be dropping my own personal records. There's going to be features on those records. I'm really excited about it. A lot of really cool new stuff. We're also going to be dropping stuff from Kevin Whitaker. He's got a record coming out called Unpredictable Love that I co-produced, co-wrote, mixed, mastered, all that good stuff. You could pre-save it right here. There's a link in the description. I think you guys are going to love this track. It's really dope, kind of a synth pop vibe. And then we got a new one from David Nolf coming out that I'm featuring on. It's called Feels Like Summer, because summer's coming, so look out for that. And then finally, Josh Rose, another artist we're working with, dropping another one called Heat Wave.
This is such a cool vibe, man. She's a heat wave, fire is her type. She's a freak, babe, lady of the night. She's a heat wave, don't you know that she'll be coming for you? Ooh, she's a heat wave, fire is her type. She's a freak, babe,
Cheers, cheers.
lady of the night. She's a heat wave, don't you know that she'll be coming for you? Ooh, she's a heat wave.
Look out for these records. And you guys, if you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the show. That's it. All right. If you guys got any comments, questions, anything, drop them in the comments. Be happy to answer any questions you guys got, and go make some music. Get back to work. All right. Peace.